We'll start recording. Hello,
Hey,
people.
good.
Welcome to Main Event Boxing Tour. We've got all the team here to go. Hello, Tom.
Hi. Happy
What's
New
going
Year.
on, y'all? Same to
Happy
you
New
guys,
Year.
man.
Happy New
Yeah.
Year to you guys.
Great.
I just want to
Great, we're
start
on.
the show off by it's lovely to hear your voices, and I want to dedicate this episode to my brother that died 3 days ago.
Oh, yeah. My condolences to you and your family, Nathan.
No problem. Right,
Yeah,
let's.
my condolences, man. R.I.P.
No problem. I'll see you in the next live, David. Right. Anyway, guys, let's get down to business. We're going to start with the IBF rankings, right? Nobody wants to fight Philip Hrgovic, right? So obviously, Spencer, you start this off, my friend.
All right, Hrgovic. I was listening to an interesting podcast. I don't know if y'all heard of Michael Montero, but
Yes,
he
I
had
have.
an interesting take because this is how I felt about it. They asked Ortiz and then they asked Parker. Hrgovic isn't really a payday for either one of those guys. Ortiz, especially since he's definitely at the twilight of his career. He's not really trying to push his way up the ranks in order to get a title shot. He thinks he deserves a bigger fight. He just got probably $1 million to face Charles Martin. He probably won't get that to face Hrgovic, to fight Hrgovic, and then to fight another fight just to, be in the title contention. So I understand why him and Parker supposedly got paid like $2 to $3 million facing Chisora in a rematch. Why go from Chisora in a rematch to getting like $500,000 in Hrgovic when he might be Fury's replacement if they can't settle stuff with Whyte? He was one of the options, him and Joyce.
Right.
So,
Right, guys.
So I understand it.
I've got the rankings in front of me, right? So can you see them? I'm sharing it. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
So Charles Martin is obviously known number one. Number two would be Ortiz, obviously, and then Martin was probably swap places with him. So what's his name? Ortiz has said no. Tony Yoka still.
Parker said no.
Parker said no.
Let me jump in here because both of these guys just came off very difficult fights, and they only have a 4-month turnaround to fight. This guy who's a beast. I mean, it's really not fair to put them in that position. Just
especially
because,
Ortiz. Yeah, especially Ortiz, because they telling him like 2 days after that. Right, and they telling him 2 days after the fight that he got dropped in twice, so he still got to do his own recovery.
Yeah, plus he has a hand injury. He claims he has a hand injury. So
but they're talking about Ajit Kabiol, who won't take it. Joe Joyce won't take it. Gassiev might take it. Why not just throw Dempsey McKean in there? Surely he would take it.
Why wouldn't Kabiol take it?
Because I just don't think he would.
Okay, because Tony Yoka got a fight against Martin Bacoli.
It's been cancelled. Been cancelled.
It's been cancelled?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. No, I don't think.
I mean, look.
I thought it was.
Realistically, would anybody really want to fight Hrgovic right now? No. They're going to avoid him. The guy is just he walks you down and pounds you.
High risk, no reward. That's what this is. This guy, let's be honest, he hasn't earned this spot. Really, has he? He hasn't earned it for me.
Well, the IBF has their share of problems, but in this case, I'm on both Parker and Ortiz's side here. It's too soon for either one of them.
Why would they take it anyway? They don't need to risk it. They've got big paydays. Joseph Parker loses that. Where are his big paydays going to come from him?
Right. Well, Yoka should do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Ajit could do it. Gassiev could do it. Any of those guys looking to move up can do do it. But
even Zhilei Zhang has said he would take it. Zhang Zhilei.
Yeah, but chances are they're all going to get hurt. Yeah. They're all going to get
Dempsey McKean
this guy
would be I think the only guy willing to take it, or him or Gassiev would be the only two guys willing to take it. Somebody's got to take it, or else he's just going to stand there. They should just
until the
elevate
dust
him
clears
and make a man if nobody wants it.
Sorry about that, guys.
What'd you say? Yeah, we're here.
All right, I'm sorry about that, guys. I was on my wife's call.
That's okay.
What did we go with? I would love to see Hrgovic versus Yoka, but let me just say this. I wanted to dispel this rumor about Hrgovic. I see him. He looks good. but he's also fighting. He ain't even fighting the guys that Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois face coming up. Like those guys are below that level, in my opinion. Like those guys aren't coming to try to win. They're not even trying to look decent. They just, it doesn't seem like those guys, minus the last guy. The last guy might have been trying.
I mean, Parker's number one, isn't he, in WBO? So why would he even want to bother risking that? You know.
Yeah, he could probably get a Joe Joyce fight that might be more lucrative, or you know, there's other options out there.
This just goes to show us again that these title organizations are becoming inconsequential. You know, they're not really mattering that much. Nobody cares if, you know, I mean, does Fury care if he gives up the WC belt? No, he'll get a great payday with or without the belt, just like Canelo says, I'm doing what I want.
80-20 split is ridiculous. If you're the interim champion, you get 45%, correct?
If you're the interim champion, you're supposed to get 45%, but you know the all of these sanctioned bodies got this unwritten rule that they could, you know, like circumvent whatever the written rules are by way of committee. And if that A-side fighter is worth more than 55% of the purse, they might alter the thing. But they also said in that explanation that they won't go lower than 70-30, which is crazy that they're going 10% lower than their own written thing to say that they won't go below it.
Well, look at what Fury and Whyte. Look, it's an 80-20 purse bet.
It's wrong.
That's what Nathan is talking about. 80-20.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That should be Fury versus Tom Schwartz type of split, not Fury versus Dylan Whyte. Because I mean, Dylan Whyte, if I'm his spokesperson, his legal guy, I'm gonna be like, listen, the fight's gonna be in the UK. It's not gonna be in the US. So yes, Fury made more money in the US and has a bigger platform in the US, but we're not fighting in the US. And it's not even going to be in US markets at a prime time because we're fighting in the UK. We're trying to build it for the UK people. And Whyte has done more pay-per-views than Fury in the UK. His pay-per-views have been as successful. I know it's a different time. Like Fury's pay-per-views was on at like 3 and 4 in the morning while Whyte's was on during their prime time. But still, Whyte can make a case that he does bring some value to the fight that's worth more than 20%.
Yeah, he definitely does. But, you know, this is Bob Arum, too, involved. And the WBC is pissed off at Whyte. So it's like a take it or leave it situation.
And it's crazy. They pissed off at Whyte for bringing them to arbitration. You know, I mean, I guess Whyte, although I said he doesn't do pay-per-views in the UK, I guess globally it ain't enough that WBC would, like, you know, give him some favorable treatment, because they sure enough allow Wilder to do certain things that they're not allowing Whyte to do.
Well, Wilder was a much bigger draw, wasn't he?
Right. No, that's why I said, like, yeah, he's a much bigger draw. He comes from a, you know, American heavyweight, so it's a big mark. You know, it's a big selling thing that they.
Plus, he's the all-time knockout king in the heavyweight division. He's
And Whyte, or truth be told, Whyte is the number 3 heavyweight in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and
so 80-20.
I have something else.
I think he's between a rock and a hard place.
Yes, I have something else to discuss. Which one thing which has made me laugh. I'm just going to bring this up now, and you'll know exactly what the hell I'm talking about.
Sure.
The WBA are at it again.
Okay.
Manuel Char has been stripped of his championship in recess because he insulted the hell out of the WBO president Mendoza. So he's now lost it. So they're now going to fight. Can you see this guy here? This guy who I've highlighted, Jonathan Goodry. Yeah. He's going to be the challenger, right?
That's crazy.
So here
that is crazy.
Here is his record.
I see that too.
Look at this guy's record, right? So he's ranked 256 in box rate. He's like Chris Lovejoy level, right? And in his last fight, he beat a guy, Rodney Moore, who lost to Roy Jones Jr. 3 or 4 years ago, which you remember, isn't it? A guy who's lost 19 fights. Look at this record. What is this shit?
It's shit. That's what it is.
He don't even. That's definitely. I mean, yeah, Don King did some real ball fondling with this one.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Good old
I
Don.
can't even explain this one. It's crazy.
You know,
And
Don King
also-
does have a sense of humor, guys.
And
He does
also
have a
Daniel
sense of humor.
Dubai, as you can see, is the official challenger OC. He will fight the winner of this fight. Thank God someone will stop this guy. He's
Can you
awful.
blame him?
He's fucking awful. Trevor
That's crazy.
Bryan's not a bad fighter, but Don King
Yeah, that's crazy.
needs to let him go. Anyway, let's
Yeah,
move
Don
on.
King needs to. They need to kick his ass out. Listen, I know since we're talking about the ridiculousness of stuff, I think it's ridiculous that they allowing Josh Warrington to fight for the IBF title.
Oh
Like-
yeah, it's a joke.
Like he dropped the title to not fight Kid Galahad because he wanted
Right.
to pursue more lucrative fights against Can Yu. He wound up losing, then couldn't win the rematch, and was lucky that it was a draw, that it was stopped, because he probably would have got stopped again in the rematch. And he, after a loss in the draw and vacating the title, he gets that shot against Kiko instead of the number one contender. Although, you know, the mandatory isn't due yet. It's due in a few months, but it's not due yet.
Is
He
Lara,
had the number.
Wait.
who's
Who
the
is he
mandatory?
with? Who is he with again? Who is he with?
The
again?
IBF.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
no.
I
Who's
think
his
he's
manager?
with Eddie. I think he's with Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, because that he's going to get the British audience there. He's going to get the UK audience.
Lopez
I
is
mean,
the number
and-
one. Lopez is the number
True.
one contender. Josh Warrington's
Right.
fourth.
And to argue that they're gonna let a UK guy go first instead of a Mexican guy, that's a hard case because Mexico got a strong fan base too.
You know what,
can't
Lara?
say, oh well,
Lara
like
should
he's
get
from
this title
Prussia.
shot. Lara's the one that should be getting this title shot for me. He's done enough.
Yeah, I think Laura's thing though is like he might not be ready for the title shot or something like that in
With his
the
guts, yeah.
thing. But yeah, I get you. He should have got it ahead of Josh. And Josh said he was moving up. After he lost to Laura, he said he probably should move up because it's hard for him to make featherweight. But then again, he's staying for 2 more fights after his loss. So, you know, and then
Paydays. It's paydays. That's all it is.
and then suppose he beats Kiko, right?
Right.
Then we got to decide whether or not he's going to fight Navarrete. I don't know. Or the Lee Wood Michael Conlon winner, who they're supposed to fight Leo Santa Cruz. So it's like all baffling in any way.
Before we move on to
Yeah.
those fights, there is one fight this week, and let me just pull up this guy's record. Right. Anyway,
What
continue.
guy?
Joe Smith Jr. will be fighting. I can't remember. I need to get to his box rec. Let me get to his box rec quickly.
Yeah, because homeboy had tested positive. Callum Johnson.
Callum Smith. No,
That's right.
Callum
Yeah, he
Johnson.
did.
Sorry.
Right. He had tested positive. I would have liked to see that Callum Johnson fight. Joe Smith talking about he don't want to fight Canelo if he wins. He want to unify the division. He said he want to unify. I mean, obviously, if Canelo picks him, he's gonna pick. He's gonna go with.
It's a big payday. That's what he said.
he
He
gonna go
offers
with
you a
the
lot of
million.
money to beat you.
Right. So you know, we know if he does come after him, he's gonna say yes. But it felt good to see that he wasn't even talking about Canelo or let's go Canelo. He said, "Yo, I want to fight Beterbiev or Bivol." He lost to Bivol already,
Right.
But, you know.
Well, you know, what about Gilberto Ramirez? He may be involved in some of this at some point.
I think since Ramirez is on the zone like Bivol, they might be trying to set up a Ramirez versus Bivol fight. Bivol don't bring nothing. Like, he's not a payday, and he's
Guys.
not really a draw.
I've got Joe Smith Jr.'s replacement here. His name is Steve Geffrard. I've never heard of him before. He's ranked 107th. They were age 50
Right.
in America. And in his last fight, he
What's
beat
his
a guy.
who he fought?
Can you see on the screen?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. It says he got a fight scheduled. Wait.
He did.
Go back down.
He had a fight
He's now
schedule,
fighting.
but
But he's now
Oh, so that
fighting
age.
versus-
Okay, right. Because he had the fight scheduled, so he's going to fight this guy on short notice.
But look at this
So that
guy's
eighth
record,
fight against.
who he was going to fight, and then look at Dennis Gravov. All these guys are all past it. You know, they haven't got good records. It's a built-up record.
Yo, you know,
Well, he's got 18
it's funny.
straight wins, though. That's good.
Yeah, after 2 losses in his first 2 fights, that's a good thing. That's a good streak.
Yeah, it was like
It's funny
Hopkins.
that you
Hopkins
brought up
lost
his
his
list.
first few fights, didn't he? He lost his first 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I know he surely lost his first one. So
Yeah.
I've noticed one of those guys on the record. He's in this group that I see on social media. That one of those guys that Joe Smith's opponent, he beat him. But that guy is very vocal about how people are trash and all of this other stuff. So I'm like,
Could you
wait a
imagine?
minute. That guy just got beat by somebody that I want to.
He sounded like Lopez.
Guys, could you imagine if he lost this fight? This is a sort of opponent he'd probably lose to. You know, it happens with boxers sometimes, don't it? Lose fights, you know.
Yeah. Fights where they weren't actually preparing for this guy, they was preparing to do something else. And you know, like Joe Smith, all due respect to the guy, he's not the most fluid and adaptable and adjustable type boxer. So, you know, for him to have to deal with, hopefully this guy has a similar style as Colin, so he don't really have to make too many adjustments and prep it.
I'm starting to think this fight is such a big mismatch. You know, I don't think this Gefford guy is even British level. Seriously, I don't think this guy will win a British title.
Do we have? We don't have any tape on him, do we?
No, we don't. But I can see if I can get some.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm going to see right now. I'm going to look and see. It's too bad Callum Johnson had a bow out. That's too bad. That would have been a decent fight.
But this is a step down.
You know, it's nobody's fault, really. I mean, he came down with COVID. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And you don't want to scrap the show, so you got to get somebody. I'm assuming this guy is ranked by the WBO.
Don't think he's even ranked.
Well,
I mean,
I got some tape on him. He's on YouTube. You know, he fought Johnson and Miller, but Miller's going back to 2016. They don't look like his career is not really taken off, you know. Let me see what he looks like here. Looks like he's got some skills, you know. We'll have to see. I mean, he's going up a guy who just does one thing. You know, he comes in, seeks, and destroys.
Yeah.
Very strong guy.
I mean, again, it's if he wins, it won't be the upset that a lot of people may make it out to be, because we honestly don't really know the guy and what he might be able to do once he's put in a certain position, to put in a certain pressure position. You don't know.
Are you trying to say he could be like a Mike Weaver kind of guy who's not really supposed to do anything like that?
He looks pretty good. I mean, I think he's going to be competitive. He's strong. You know, he has long arms. He's got size. He's strong. I mean, it depends on his chin. You know, it doesn't look like he's been KO'd in the boxing record here.
His first 2 fights would be low rounds anyway, so it's possible that he lost just like close decisions in his first 2 fights.
It's hard to judge because I'm watching the guy from, I don't know from 2016, and he was much bigger than the guy. So
I mean,
and that was 6 years
strong.
ago. So
he's strong. He has a quick right hand. He has a good left hook. He's tight. His punches are tight. His defense is tight.
Oh, this might be a good one then, because those sound like attributes of Joe Smith.
This guy has skills.
What you just said, he got a good right hand with a good left hook?
Yeah, and he has a tight defense, and you know, he's fast, and he knows how to put leverage in his punches. But still, if he comes straight into Joe, he better be prepared for 12 rounds of hell, because Joe will go to hell. You know what I mean? And
I definitely give him that. He got heart and grit.
Yeah,
Right.
and Joe has a very strong right hand, and this guy has a wide left hook. So,
Okay. Shall we move
but
on?
that was like 8 years ago. I'm looking at. I don't know what he looks like now.
Shall we
Yeah, he could
move
have
on to
definitely
some of
slowed
these
down.
fights?
Yeah, let's move on to something else.
That's coming up in March. Virgil Ortiz Jr. will be fighting Michael Mickinson, which is a good fight, but I think it's a step too far for Mickinson, this fight.
Could be.
Doesn't he, Virgil Ortiz? Virgil Ortiz just left the trainer. What's his name? He left his trainer and he's training with somebody else. Yeah, the guy who trained the guy who almost beat Floyd in that one fight. He got him really good. Maidana, yeah, he clocked him. He clocked Floyd really well. He left him.
Isn't it Robert Garcia?
Yeah, Robert Garcia. Yeah, he left him.
Who did he go
Was
to?
he-
Canelo's trainer? No, he ain't go.
I don't know. But what happened was he had a rough time his last two fights. He won, but he took a lot of punishment, So, and plus he didn't feel he was getting enough attention. I don't know what it was, but Garcia did well with him. But Virgil, I think he's been pushed along too fast.
Yeah, they're a lot. Well, Golden Boy don't really have too many people in and around that division, so they, and that's a hot division, so they trying to push their asset out as quickly as possible, I believe.
Yeah, he went with Eddie Reynoso. He went with Eddie Reynoso.
Okay, so he is with. So he might. I gotta figure this out because Robert Garcia is a good trainer in my opinion. He's decent.
Sure.
I'm not gonna. I would probably rate him above Eddie Reynoso. I mean, I know Reynoso got Canelo and all of that, but I would like his overall body of work. I would probably rate Garcia better.
Right.
I would like to see what exactly Reynoso is going to do with him that Garcia couldn't get out of him.
They gotta put him in with a couple of. He's got to tighten his defense, is what it is. His offense is fine, but his defense, he takes too many shots, and he's going to get clipped really bad as he moves up that division.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Those guys as he gets. Yes, sir.
Quickly discuss the Gogaladze fight. Who did Gogaladze fight? Victor Forst.
Galadze, and is this the guy fighting Ortiz?
Victor Verst.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I didn't quite get what you're talking about
Victor
here.
Verst against Galadze. You watched it, didn't you, Spencer?
Victor
Forst.
Yeah, wait a second. I don't recognize.
That was on the Ortiz card?
Yeah, on the PBC undercard. Yeah, both fighters got knocked down 3 times.
The guy. Oh, you know what? You saying his name one way. They said Faust or something.
Victor
Faust
Faust.
the day of the fight.
Victor Faust. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, he got dropped twice, but he dropped the other guy 3 times. I think that's how it played out, and it only lasted 2 rounds. You could watch the highlights and basically see the whole fight. That one.
And then, yeah, I saw it. Now I know what you're talking about. I saw that fight.
And then Sanchez fought. Who Sanchez fought again?
Christian Hammer.
Sanchez fought Christian Hammer.
Which was a boring fight.
Right.
I didn't even see it. I was told it was boring, so I didn't.
Well, he pounded him pillar to post.
Yeah, I mean, they're. It's just sad, man. He did what he was supposed to do, Frank Sanchez, and then you see the critics on social media talking about he'll never be good enough, and he couldn't stop Hammer.
Blah, blah, blah.
I'm like,
oh, you know what, guys? We never picked the fighter of the year last year.
No, we didn't. I mean, I'm going with Canelo. I would go with Canelo.
Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor?
Yeah.
What about?
I would go with Canelo.
What about Clarissa Shields? I mean, she unified. She held unified titles in 2 divisions at the same time.
You know what? That's fair because we should include the women. I was only focusing on the guy side, but that's a fair assessment. I again say Canelo, but he unified an entire division, belt by belt. in the past year. So, I would have voted him
So
over Josh Taylor.
So
Josh
those are
Taylor
the top
won
three,
fights.
what we have there.
Yeah.
I think it's Canelo, Clarissa, and Josh.
And I
You
think
could
a
make a
second
case for Tyson Fury as well, but
make a case for Stephen Fulton, I
yeah,
think.
definitely. Yeah.
Because Stephen Fulton won the WBO and then he unified and won the WBC in a fight of the year candidate against Figueroa.
Right.
So like those guys that win multiple titles or win a title, and I would vote somebody that had multiple fights over somebody that had only one fight for fighter of the year, in my opinion. That's why I wouldn't pick Usyk over AJ.
Right, what we'll do is we'll go on to the Charles Martin fight, which I thought was a great fight. You know what? Ortiz looked every bit.
It was very entertaining.
Looked every
Very
bit.
entertaining.
I thought it was, yeah. I mean, Ortiz, I never thought he was out of the fight. Definitely those were knockdowns. One of them he kind of tripped to at the same time, but was hit. But
I think that was the first
he
one.
came back. He came back and climbed that mountain back up, and
Yeah,
I think the body work helped him.
That first round knockdown, Ortiz, in my opinion, was winning the round. And as you said, I think that was a combination of him moving a certain way and Martin hitting him that kind of caught him off balance, and then he fell. That second knockdown in the fourth round was hit. It was a straight jab, and he got dropped with a straight jab.
Didn't Martin get knocked down once, or was it twice? It's twice, wasn't it, in the final round, which was the sixth round? He got his glove caught in the ropes.
Yeah, the first time his arm got caught in the ropes, and then the second time, I think the ref called it after he stood up.
They shouldn't have called it off there.
Yeah,
but it was very entertaining.
I get it. For the 6 rounds it happened, it was definitely good. I was not expecting. I think Ortiz will probably fight another PBC fighter, maybe Ruiz. He might fight Ruiz.
For me, I think Ortiz has got to be careful who he fights now. Seriously. He's on the slide.
Yeah,
he
only has a few good fights left in him.
Yeah, I didn't pick Billy
That's what I said.
Seriously.
I don't think, unless he fights, I don't think he's going to fight a fighter that he's not going to get a 7-figure payday from. So the only ones, there's limited options there. Ruiz might be one. I doubt it, but Parker is a possibility, but he would have to travel to go to Parker to get that money. That's really kind of maybe Frank Sanchez. He could,
Ortiz.
Or Fury. He could fight Fury, if he wants
to.
Yeah,
he could fight money. Fury, but would Fury seek him out?
Him and Derek Chisora would be a great fight, even though I'd fancy him. Stop.
Well, the depends. Fury says he'd fight anybody. He hasn't turned anybody down. What'd you say, Frank Sanchez? They're stable men. Their country, they probably wouldn't do that.
The problem with Ortiz is that his career is so slow at developing. Like when he was the interim champion, he beat Jennings like 6-7 years ago. When he was
he also got popped for PEDs too.
But he was in his prime then. In his prime, I'd have picked him to be anyone in the top 5.
Year of his career.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's also it was a. Ortiz got that thing of not having a huge fan base. Also, he's a dangerous fighter that didn't really bring a lot of money to the top guys. So it only came about with Wilder because it just so happens that was a perfect time.
Anyway, he's muted himself.
Who, me? I haven't muted myself.
He's muted himself.
Oh, why did he do that?
I think he's in the shop.
Y'all there?
Oh, okay. Anyway, I think that Ortiz has maybe 2, tops 3 fights left in him, and he's got to choose wisely. Do you agree?
Hello?
Hey, you're back. I was saying I think he needs to have 2 or 3 fights, but he has to choose wisely.
Is something wrong with my audio, y'all?
No, I'll put you.
Something wrong with my audio.
Hey, there he is.
No,
I
You've muted yourself.
I hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. You just
All
muted
right.
yourself.
So what did you want to move on to while he's getting his audio corrected?
Uh,
I can hear you, but you're a little
Y'all hear
fuzzy
me?
there.
Yeah, I can hear
Now
you.
I hear you. Okay. So what do you want to talk about now?
Lee Wood against Michael Conlon has been announced as well.
Hello.
Hello.
There he is. There he is.
Okay, something went on with my damn thing.
Lee Wood versus Michael Conlon or Connolly.
Michael Conlon versus Lee Wood for the WBA.
That's going to
regular
be good.
title.
That's going to be good. Don't you think?
What do you think, Spencer? Okay.
I think Conlon will do it.
His hand
But I
is
think it's
raised,
good
but I
fighting.
don't. Yeah. You
He's
can't hear
having
him. We can't
He's
hear
having
you either.
difficulty.
So if you come out of the room and then come back in again,
Go
Hello.
back to where you had a good
Hello,
signal.
hello,
Now we hear
hello,
you. We
hello.
hear you.
we can
Hear
hear
you.
you. now. Can hear you now.
Maybe he can't hear us. That's probably the problem. So is that fight getting built up over there?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So what are the odds over there?
Most people expect Conlon to win, to be honest.
Do you think it'll be an upset?
Could be, but I've got to pick.
Well-
I'm gonna have to go Conlon.
Wood's durable though.
Oh, he's very good. Yeah, he didn't. No
Yeah.
one expected him to beat Canyon.
He may be really up for this fight. I mean, it's a payday for him. It's a crossroads
Hello?
fight. If he wins,
So we
hello.
can hear
Y'all
you.
If
hear
he
me?
wins, he can make a lot more money. Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all can't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
I can't hear you guys.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I can't hear you guys though.
Oh. Well, why don't you
Why
type
that
what we're
is.
talking about in there and tell them to comment?
I don't understand why that is. All right.
Uh,
I don't even know why. I'm gonna try to leave and then come back in. Maybe that works.
all right.
Left him.
So most people are picking Conlon, you said. So I think this is a close fight. I think this is not like a, 65-35. I think it's,
Yeah.
55-45. And if Wood is motivated, it could go in his favor.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. He's
Okay.
tough.
Then we'll move on to the next fight, which is Francisco Estrada against Roman Gonzalez for the WBA flyweight title.
I'm going to go with Estrada because I think Chocolatito has had too many fights.
Yeah, he got too
And I
many
think-
wars under his belt. I'll go with that.
Yeah, and Estrada has had some wars, but I think he's the fresher of the two. And the first one was very close, even though I think Chocolatito won, and then Estrada, or was it the other way around? Estrada lost
I
the
remember
first
you.
one, won the second one, whatever.
Yeah,
I
because
think
didn't they fight last year? That
Hmm.
was they fought last year, right?
Yeah, and who won last year? I forgot.
It was
Estrada.
Estrada. It's Estrada.
Right. Okay. So so it's a trilogy, but I think Chocolatito, those smaller guys, and he's in a weight that he really shouldn't be at. I think it's closing time for him. He's still a great fighter, but this is the time when those smaller weights they get hurt, and that hurt stays with them the rest of their life. You
Yeah,
got to know when to bow out here, especially when you're that great and you can keep on going. Somebody's got to tell you, look, that's enough.
Right, we've got 6 minutes left. We'll quickly talk about this too. For Danny Jacobs against John Ryder. That's a very interesting fight, that.
In what way? I mean, Danny Jacobs is a much better boxer.
I know he is, but
Yeah, he should. He should win, but he's he's not got that same.
Don't
hunger,
forget
I
the
don't
fights
think.
in England. There could be some dodgy judging.
Yeah, that too. But again, Danny Jacobs. I think once he got that, he did a decent job against Canelo, but outside of those, most of those other performances, it seemed like he had lackluster performances.
You know what? I can't
Maybe
knock Danny Jacobs at all. He shouldn't even be alive. Do you know what I mean? With what he's been.
So without question, he's my truth be told, he's
Great
my
guy.
favorite fighter. Not only is because he's from Brooklyn, because his backstory is like really inspirational. So yeah, without question, he's that. But again, I know his capabilities. I know he got power in both hands and all this other stuff. It just seems like the past few fights, he's been better than his opposition, way better than his opposition, but it hasn't really always transpired in the ring. Gabe Rosado gave him a good fight, although Gabe Rosado's always game. But he gave him a good fight. Guys like Luis Arias and all of these guys, Selecki, he should be washing through these guys. And, they gave him decent fights.
Right. Well, do you think it's a psychological thing with him or what? I mean, he did get knocked down against Canelo. It looked like he got more defensive after Canelo. I mean, what do you think it is with him?
I think partly it's because of whatever his aspirations is. It's like, I think it's just the hunger is not as there, ain't there like it was before. He's reached a goal of becoming a world champion after being told that he wouldn't be able to walk. Like, he's already did his biggest thing. He's already accomplished his biggest feat. Now everything else is icing. So, he gave good performances against the best people that he's faced. Golovkin, some people say that was a close fight, if not for the knockdown. He could have possibly won the fight. Canelo, same thing. So he gave good accounts for himself against the top guys. It ain't like they washed him. It's just that when he's fighting the other lower level guys, you would expect him to just demolish them. The way he was doing
dominate
the guys,
them.
the way he was doing the guys before the Golovkin fight.
He wasn't.
But that was it.
He wasn't truly elite. That's all he was. He was world class, but he wasn't truly elite.
Yeah. Again, he had cancer, so.
I know he did. Yeah.
Well, didn't Durrell have cancer as well and beat it?
Yeah, he had a different form of cancer, but yeah, he had cancer as well. That's another backstory. Him being from Flint, Michigan, and they should market all of this stuff much better than that. Like Durrell brothers should have been on the card.
They did for a while, but people forget and then they don't care.
Yeah, the Durrell brothers should have been on the card with Clarissa Shields a couple of years ago when that whole Flint, Michigan water crisis thing happened. Because all three of them they're all from Flint. So
we're going to finish on one final fight. We've got 2.5 minutes. Jesse Vargas against Liam Smith. This is a good fight, considering Vargas is a 147 fighter. He's not a 154 fighter. And
Liam Smith, this is a good fight to me. I don't like Liam Smith because of his skill level or whatever the case is. It's just like, he down to fight guys. He don't have, he ain't no position to pass up too many opportunities anyway. But, I do give him kudos for, going he ain't worried about his record or whatever the case is.
The problem with this fight is you've got a guy who's a natural 147 fighter and a guy who's a natural 160 in Liam Smith. I think Smith's going to be too big. And I think he takes it on a dodgy decision.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think it'll be a good fight, though. I think Vargas is very game, and so is Smith.
But I just get the
skill wise, they're about the same. So we'll see.
You'd have to say Vargas has had a tougher career. He's had a much tougher career.
Yeah, but as like Nathan said, though, like skill-wise, if they on equal par, Liam Smith being a naturally bigger guy, you should lean for the naturally bigger guy to win if the skill level is the same.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just think
you never know.
I would lean with Smith. Yeah,
I think Vargas is best days behind him. Since he lost to Pacquiao, he's never been the same fighter.
Well, I think it's also true Liam Smith, isn't it? His salad days have gone, but he's still competitive.
Right, guys. We've run out.
This is a perfect fight for them both.
Yep.
We'll be back next week, guys.
Because the winner can fight Tszyu. Well, Liam Smith already fought Tszyu, right?
Right. Nathan, are you signing off?
Yeah, because we've run out of time.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, man. Have a good one till next week.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys. See you later.
Happy